Oh man, the drama continues on this one, guys. What's up? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks everyone who's been leaving comments on our videos as of late. It's been a spicy week, and we have more of a response from Nadia on exposing Call of Duty for their lies of what she says she's being blacklisted for her bikini pictures. Now, we have a video TLDR in the first initial stance of this, the first call out by Nadia, if you guys want to go check that out, as she has since deleted the original tweet where she referenced other streamers like Tfue, Swagg, Aydan, and Lucky, who she claims were doing similar styles of content, but were getting invites and she was not. But she's now taken to stream to talk more about this and say that, hey, there was actually a COD event, I believe COD Next, and maybe some other COD events she was not getting invites to, while apparently other non-COD Call of Duty creators were still being invited, and that was her initial complaint.
So, I saw some people get invited to something and they don't even play Call of Duty, and I was like, what's going on? Like, why are they blackballing me? I have talked to Call of Duty. I talked to Shanice specifically about this when they invited me to the Vondel event. I told them how I felt, and they were like, it's because you don't play anymore. But I was like, there's people at this event right now that don't even play the game. And they were like, well, some people just, post on YouTube, and we like that we have content creators that post on YouTube. I don't fucking know. But regardless, they told me that, they'll start inviting me more once I said that. And I was like, I want to be connected to MW3. I told them the truth about MW2. I said, look, it's not something that I really like. With the newest game, I want to be tapped in. And this was even before I knew slide canceling was even coming out.
She then also mentions maybe she rubbed Activision or Call of Duty the wrong way, maybe upset them a little bit when she brought up the fact that slide canceling should return to the game. It was great for content, and also references her own TikTok blow up. And it seems to be referencing how big she was on TikTok and how she kind of blew up Call of Duty TikTok back in the movement days when she first started really taking off.
I signed an NDA, so I can't talk specifically what they talked about. They were just, when they invite you to these events, they just kind of tell you what the new update is for the season. And in one of the patch notes in the season, this is not something that's in the NDA because they already released the patch notes. But, before they actually released it to the public, they, we got invited out and they told us what's going to happen ahead of time. So when they were doing like the slideshow of Vondel and they were, telling us about the new update, one of the key points that they, the patch note said was movement changes. Okay, it was very vague. Movement changes, okay? So that after they're done with the prompt, they asked the creators if we have any questions, and I asked them if there's going to be any, slide canceling, because I think slide canceling was really prominent to the game, and that's what blew up the game, right? And they were like, they gave it, the generic answer. We don't know, just wait till the new season drops. And you'll see what the movement's like. And I was like, yeah, but you guys always say this, and I think slide canceling should come back because it's really important. And then Iceman Isaac, kind of backed me up a little bit. And he's like, yeah, this is the reason why, MW 2019 did a lot better than this one. And then that kind of, made Call of Duty upset because I also backed that up, and I was like, yeah, my TikTok movement and all that, you don't see TikToks about the newest Call of Duty. And then, Rob wasn't too happy about that. He's like, well, someone that works at Activision. And he was like, that's not true. We actually just looked at the TikTok analytics and content analytics, and the newest game is doing just as good content-wise as the old game. And I was like, no, it's not. Even Courage tweeted about it. And he's like, well, back then, it was kind of hyped up because of the pandemic. And I was like last year, when I blew up, that, the pandemic was, over. It wasn't even considered a pandemic. That's not true. And, kind of go a little bit went back and forth. And I was like, I think that's just a very predominant thing to have in the game.
And a reoccurring theme throughout this stream is that Nadia thinks she's not been getting invites to these Call of Duty events because of her bikini pictures, while the Call of Duty team says, no, it's not been that. It's been your lack of Call of Duty content. A kind of a resolution we reached in yesterday's video, saying it seemed like kind of a reach to compare her content also to Tfue, Swagg, Aydan, and Lucky in their one-off posts that they have done literally like one time. It doesn't seem like a fair comparison. And a lot of people in the responses felt that Nadia was maybe reaching a bit on this point.
So I messaged Shanice and I was like, why am I being blackballed? You know, like, I don't understand. I noticed when I was getting blackballed, and when I went to that Vandal event, I told, you know, Call of Duty that I noticed it when I kissed Azra, specifically. And then after that, they really didn't invite me out much. And they told me that's not true, that's not the reason. They said because I wasn't playing Call of Duty, but I was playing Call of Duty back then. I was playing Call of Duty with Chris Brown. I don't know if you guys remember. But I was playing Call of Duty with Chris Brown. So like I was playing Call of Duty. So that happened, and they were like, okay, well, that's when they invited us to the Vandal event, and they're like, that's not true. And then after the Vandal event, I saw a bunch of people getting invited, so I was like, what's going on? I thought you guys would tap me in. And then
very importantly, she actually talks about the emails that she sent to Activision, the team over there at Call of Duty, and she continues to reference other streamers in this email and the double standards. So she says in Activision, it seems to be in this email blatantly accusing them, if not of being sexist, but of having those double standards between her and the other streamers that she continues to mention, Swagg, Lucky, Aydan, and Tfue. But we'll dive into that in a second.
Any misinterpretation. I want to heavily be involved with MDB3. Brief calls, LAN events, pre-drop gameplay, information, everything. I will be doing YouTube videos on Call of Duty MDB3. I truly know at heart the big reason I'm being blackballed is because of the fan house / Azure content. I know it's something that is considered a brand risk, even though men can post similar and even more exposed content and not face half the repercussions. The world we live in will never hold men accountable for the same circumstances women are in. That is just the world we live in. I don't blame Activision or Call of Duty for obliging by the society norms in order to keep and save the reputation of the company. All companies do this and have to in order to endure stability. And I understand why the team has dismissed it as a reason, so the company can remain preserved. I'm not writing this to argue why I got blackballed. I'm writing this to reassure I not only want to be involved in MD3, but to ensure my content won't go further than Fanos. My future goal is to travel, do IRL and gaming. The fluidity I have for content, not relying on a single game for my viewership and success, is something that gives me security. I use Fanos as a way to convert my content outside of Call of Duty, which allowed me to be flexible in the content world and gave me another source of income that wasn't just live streaming based. Being a female in a male-dominant industry, we have to face many challenges: sexual harassment, more pressure due to being held at higher standards than men, difficulties of being heard, pervasive stereotypes, and much more. Instead of complaining, I did what I've always done, and I used those sexist stereotypes to my advantage. Women get penalized for speaking out or catering to what the male suggestion is. There is no winning in their eyes, so to cope with this double standard, I've always chosen the option that will benefit me. For example, leading to the Call of Duty cheating stuff, leading into the constant sexualization of women. I never fully go towards that realm. I've always just dipped my toes in the water as a gateway for more opportunities to do IRL and gaming. You don't have to respond defending Activision and Call of Duty for the reasoning behind me being blackballed. I really don't want to discuss that man anymore, given it's not the true intent of this message. Again, I just sent this to give you clarity on my future vision with overall content in general. Cheating and Fanos were just to alleviate what I really want to do, gaming and IRL, and not in a sexual manner. I hope that you and the team read this and still want to work with me. If not, I truly understand it's business after all. Roberts responded saying, just to be clear, and put in writing since you don't seem to believe us when we talk, there is no blackballing, or what you're doing in those other sites is not a concern. It comes down to content you create around the game, and if you're a fit for the event. Streaming versus VOD, target numbers, gameplay focus, all of it. I said I understood, and I want to be there, and I would be posting content. And then I said, on August 23rd, I know the invites were sent out. If you guys aren't including me, can you please let me know? I'm being told I'm heard, but the actions of the consistent neglection prove otherwise. Rob said, I'm re-adding Shanice. Not all invites have gone out. The team is still working through it.
This is where Rob over at Activision literally says, hey, it is not for your bikini pictures. It is for your lack of Call of Duty content. And on top of that, all of the invites have not been sent out yet. It seems to be another reoccurring theme that Nadia thinks is because of the bikini pictures and the new content that she does, and not the lack thereof of Call of Duty content. And she also seems to think that all of the invites have been sent out and that Call of Duty / Activision is lying to her. Although repeatedly in these emails they say, hey, it is not for your bikini content, it's for your lack of Call of Duty content, and not all of the invites have even been sent out yet, and she does not believe them.
And this as a going live. And last but not least, my favorite one, like ever, is the fact that, you know, you have Swagg posting a picture of his butt, and on it says Raven, okay? And not only is that crazy, but like Raven literally made that their profile picture. So I don't want to hear nothing about double standards and how it doesn't exist, because that's fucking insane. Again, I have nothing against Aydan or any of those guys. I think their content's funny. I don't really care what they post. I'm just pointing out the fact that, like, it's just the fact that they can do that, and I've never posted nudity. I post a bikini picture and get blackballed. That's just how it is. And you know, I've reached out to them multiple times. They've given me multiple different excuses. And
regardless of all of this, she clears up and tries to, she labeled the stream, you know, exposing Call of Duty. And I still think, I have no ill will towards Nadia or what she does. She's an adult, but clearly her content has shifted away from Call of Duty. If you want to go check her page, it is not Call of Duty content and has not been for several months. Whether it's her social media page, whether it's her stream, she doesn't do Call of Duty content like she once did. Also, got to keep in mind that several times throughout this, Activision says it's not even for your bikini content. It is for the fact that you haven't been doing Call of Duty content. And you could even argue the fact that, you know, whether or not that is honest, that, you know, maybe they don't like the content that she does. Even Nadia has admitted the lack of sponsors or the loss of sponsorships she has had due to her content shift. Clearly, she has to maybe understand that Call of Duty is also in that wake. When you change your content to what you do now, so be it. Like, you have that choice. I'm not going to judge you for it, but you can't necessarily blame Call of Duty, who will then be represented by you, for maybe not wanting to harm their image in any way possible. But even then, they say that's not the case. You accuse them that that's the case, and it seems to be the lack of Call of Duty content, which there is factual information there. You haven't been making Call of Duty content. You haven't been streaming Call of Duty. And so the giant question that a lot of people had is like, why would they invite you just based off the promise that you will be doing content again? I don't know. I think for me, the biggest reach here was including other streamers like Swagg, Aydan, Tfue, Lucky for these one-off posts, several of which, by the way, were years ago. Aydan and Tfue, that was years ago that they posted that stuff. And even beyond that, all of these guys, they don't sell this kind of content or post it, you know, almost every day or multiple times a week. That's not a very fair comparison to them, in my opinion. All in all, I got no hard feelings here. I just want to, you know, give you guys all the information Nadia put out there and Call of Duty themselves, and just the fact that I don't think the reference point she made to other streamers was necessarily fair to them. It does suck that Call of Duty is not giving out invites, but do I believe that if she were to stop that one type of content and return to Call of Duty that she would get invites? 100%. So what do you guys think? Nadia has exposed Call of Duty, and I don't know if they're going to be sending her an invite now, but I guess we'll see, because if they do, there'll probably be a little more drama around it. Till next time, take care of yourselves. We got a long day here. Thanks to everyone who's been subscribing, leaving comments down below. Really do appreciate you guys. We'll see you back here sometime soon.